Z Fold 7, 1 week later. I am a big fan, and, well, it's a good phone. I've got a lot of thoughts I want to talk about in this video, and if you like it and you're interested, of course, the pre-order deals are still on with the $1,000 max trading credit, the extra credit for the storage upgrade, and all that stuff. I've got an affiliate link in the description. But the phone itself, I've made a lot of videos about it. It's been polarizing phone, a lot of people different thoughts and feelings, people that want features that aren't there, people that don't care about features that aren't there, missing the S Pen. But at base value, I think there's a lot of significant upgrades here to talk about. One, we've got the bigger screen on the front, we got the bigger screen on the inside, we've got the ceramic Gorilla Glass ceramic on the front, which is top notch, the gold standard, I think, in protective glass displays. We've got the better processor, the Snapdragon 8 Elite processor, which has been zipping and flying and no problems. I haven't had any heat issues, especially not playing Boom Beach. But I mean, it's not that intensive anyway. But definitely, I've been playing some Boom Beach on here. We've got the 2600 nits brightness, 120 hertz refresh rate. Yes, there's the peephole cutout on the inside now instead of the under display camera, which some people are not happy about. And then we've also got still the 4400 milliamp battery, which people are upset about. And I got some insight on the battery situation. I read about this about a week or two ago. So one of the reasons Samsung does not use the larger batteries or the different density with the silicon carbon batteries has to do with safety issues and transportation and longevity. So in the United States, we have different regulatory standards for what considered a hazardous good whenever it's being shipped. And based off the density of the batteries and going over, I think it's just over 5,000 milliamps. If you want to ship something like, let's say, with a 6,000 milliamp battery, depending on its density, then it's like something that goes in a cell phone, not like a battery bank. They're bigger, the density is different. But anyway, if you ship it, it has to have a hazardous or dangerous cargo designator, which changes how you can ship it, changes the cost of shipping it. And that's one of the reasons why in the US, everything's kind of limited to 5,000, with the exception of like the OnePlus 13. We know it has a 6,000 milliamp battery. How does it get away with it? It's split into two batteries. So you can get away with that if you split it in two. But if you just have one, like let's say 5,000 milliamp battery, 20 watt hour, once it goes over that threshold, then it's considered hazardous or dangerous cargo, according to the US. Here's the other thing, and I talked about this briefly because I've been doing some research previously about the silicon carbon technology in the batteries, and they allow additional density and different things like that that give you a little bit of leg up, and they're supposed to preserve the battery life even longer, at least as far as I know. But there is a problem with them. Because of the density, because of the way that they're made, they have more problems with expansion. And Samsung historically has had problems with this, but the lithium ion batteries have had problems with this for years. You go take a look at a phone that you left alone in your drawer and 3 years come back later and it started to expand and it's busting the back of the phone at the seams and different things like that. So the silicon carbon batteries have not been tested that long. So when you have a company like Samsung that makes a phone that's lasts for 7 years, you can't have the battery popping out of the back of the phone after 3 years. And there was one Chinese study that I was reading about, or at least reference, that said the silicon carbon batteries can have up to 400% more expansion over the traditional batteries. So I think that's what Samsung's waiting on. And I made a video about this a few months ago where Samsung, I can't remember the name of the brand, but they're like the largest silicon carbon battery manufacturer. Samsung bought them. So I know that it's on their roadmap. I know that it's something that they're looking into, and at least something they'll probably sell and make for other people as well, because Samsung is one of the biggest components and phone part manufacturers in the world. They make their screens, they make their chips, they make all sorts of things. They make them for other phones too. The Samsung displays go into iPhones, for Pete's sake. So I know it's on the roadmap, but they're just not there yet. So I still wish we could have bumped it up to 5,000. I think that would have been meaningful. One of the biggest reasons is because we do have the bigger screen on the front, and we have the bigger screen on the inside. So, yes, it's rated. It's supposed to be like 1 extra hour of battery life over the Z Fold 6, which is impressive considering the phone screen is a bit bigger on the front and on the inside, but it still leaves us a little lacking. I'd like to be able to see us to get better battery life. I'm still seeing all-day battery life, but it depends on how you use it. Probably I'd say I'm a 70-30 split on using my phone on the front screen and then on the inside screen. And usually when I'm using the inside screen, if I'm sitting at a doctor's appointment, if I'm in the car and I'm not driving, if I'm on an airplane, if I'm traveling, if I'm watching a movie, usually late in the evening whenever I'm laying in bed or playing Boom Beach. There are times when I have more leisurely opportunities where I will open it up and I will enjoy the big interior screen experience. And it is nice. I love how thin it is. I love how lightweight it is. You don't really get any hand fatigue. And it's just beautiful. Beautiful display, high resolution, 120 hertz refresh rate. And Samsung, I still say and maintain, makes the best looking screens that you can get in the phone. 2x AMOLED, all that great stuff. And then, of course, we have the much diminished crease that is on the inside screen here. Now you can see my fingerprints, sadly, and those do get picked up because, I mean, it is a screen. But the crease, you can see it when the light hits it just right, but when you're holding it and using it, man, it is such an improvement over the Z Fold 6. It was the Z Fold 6 crease was just so harsh. Every time you would run your finger over it, you could notice it and tell it was there. This is a big deal. This is a big difference. And of course, it's lightweight. It seems to be made very, very well. They've redone stuff with the hinge. They've done stuff with additional grade 4 titanium for reinforcement. And overall, I've had a great experience with the phone. And of course, the Snapdragon 8 Elite processor, tried and true, phenomenal chipset that I've been using in so many phones this year. Over 4 gigahertz clock speed. The Snapdragon for Samsung chip. It is the gold standard of Android chipsets. So I'm happy with it. I like it. I've kind of gotten to where I'm weeding out my muscle memory for the S Pen. And it's funny because I read an article yesterday saying that Samsung is probably going to bring back the S Pen in the future. It seems like the major reason they ditched it is twofold. Major reasons. Add the S on the end. Parentheses. One, citing low usage. And okay, yeah, if a bunch of people don't use them, that's fine, whatever. But that's why I didn't mind them having it as an accessory. See, when you look at the S25 Ultra, that sucker goes inside the phone. That has to come with every phone. If you have the Z Fold, one, it was the dumb S Pen that didn't do any gestures, no Bluetooth, none of that. But you had to buy an additional case, which made the phone more bulky, and it goes on the back of the phone. So mine even fell out before. I had to buy a replacement one this last year with my Z Fold 6, and I love that thing. I call it a popsicle stick because that's what it reminded me of. It was so small in the design. I use it all the time for navigation and interaction with my phone. So it does hurt my feelings. I hate that they took it away, but one, they cited low usage, and two, they're making newer, thinner technology. And here's the thing. So there's a digitizer layer that goes under the screen that registers and picks up the feedback from the S Pen. So like, let's say, sorry, mine's not over here. My S Pen, oh, here it is. We'll use this as an illustration. So you can touch the screen all you want. You can dot on it. You can do all these different things, and it just doesn't do anything. Why doesn't it do anything? Because there's nothing under the screen to register the feedback. Two different designs you can use. You can use a phone that has a digitizer layer under the screen that picks up and registers the feedback for the S Pen. That's what enables this to be so small because it doesn't have a battery. It relies on the digitizer under the screen. What Apple does with the Apple Pencil, there's no digitizer under the screen, but you have to register and pick up the feedback on the writing utensil, and then it sends the data to the phone. That is done because it has a battery in it. It has power. So Samsung has two options, or they had two options. It was to go ahead and remove the digitizer and make a new S Pen that supports the battery, or that was it, right? Or they go with no option. So according to one of their high-up guys in their product development, they're saying that they anticipate it coming back out in the future, that they are designing and developing new, smaller, thinner technology to work, and also citing, if people complain enough about not having the S Pen and demand is there, then they'll bring it back. So I think it's probably a relative certainty in the next year. Probably we'll see it. And especially depending on how sales go for this phone. If sales are lackluster for this phone and everybody's mad about the S Pen, they will bring it back for the next one. And that's why I said in so many videos, speak with your wallet. Like, yes, it's cool to complain. It's cool to voice your concern. This is YouTube. It's the internet. I fully expect half of my comments to be complaints. I complain. That's what we do. We're humans. It's the digital internet age. That's a way of life. We complain. But the strongest complaint is with your wallet, right? So if you're unhappy with the product and you are therefore otherwise going to buy it, but no S Pen, now you're not happy about it, then don't buy it. And I said in many videos, I'm not a salesman. I'm here to give you my thoughts, impressions, opinions on using the phone so I can give you the best information possible so you're informed to go get something that you want to spend your hard-earned money on. So if Samsung said that, If a high up person in Samsung said that, that means they're hearing the backlash, right? So I think that if sales are lackluster, you'll 100% see it back. But I think also they're actually developing new technology that'll work, that isn't reliant on the way it used to work. And I was fine with having a case on the back that had my S Pen, but you had to buy it, right? It was not a cheap case, made the phone more bulky. So it's like, what's the point in making a phone that is this thin? And then you put a bulky case on the back of it with an S Pen on it, and then it's like, okay, what's the point, right? So I understand from a functionality and an aesthetics and a design purpose to go ahead and do that, but it doesn't make us angry fans not happy about it, right? So I look forward to that hopefully coming back next year. That would definitely drive sales up, and it would make big numbers for Samsung, but it leaves us in limbo with certain parts of the fan base on this one. Absent the S Pen, I love this phone, and I'm happy with the 200 megapixel camera. We've got that. And it seems even with the optimization from the image signal processor and the Snapdragon 8 Elite, I took a selfie, a couple of them the other day, and I posted one on Twitter, and I was really surprised with how well it turned out. Like, it looks good. It looks better than the Z Fold 6. It looks really good. So it's not just about one of those things where, okay, we've got the same selfie camera. There's two components when it comes to cameras. You have the sensor, and then you have the processor, right? So we have the camera sensor, takes the shot, sends it to the image signal processor. It handles it, spits out the image with the help of the chip. So when you get a new chip, when you get a new image signal processor, that gives you like an extra layer of language. So like, let's say you're in high school and you're in Spanish 2. Well, if you took another year of Spanish, you're going to be even better. You're going to be more fluent. You're going to understand better. You're going to know more of the nuances of the language and the intended purpose of the message. So when you get a new image signal processor built off of already the customization and optimization for that sensor, it just gives you extra words to work with to describe an image, and it makes it to where you get a better fine-tuned, more accurate image. So it does take better shots, even though it's the same selfie. And then we've got that new 200 megapixel camera. So I like the phone a lot. I really do. If it had the S Pen, it would be utterly perfect for me. And then the other thing is people have noted, it doesn't seem to go exactly flat. Now, I guess maybe you can force it a little bit, but I think they leave just that tiny, 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 like 1% non-flatness in there, just so it relieves some of the tension off the screen. So that way it makes, I don't know. It's been like this before with other phones. It doesn't bother me. I don't notice it at all. And I think it's fine. When you're using the experience, I mean, it looks and feels and seems flat. So that was another criticism. But yeah, battery life, I still need to dive in more. The problem is I just use the front screen so much, and then I have to catch myself. I'm like, you know what? I'm a reviewer. I have to use the inside screen. I have to see how the battery is. So I'm going to try and do more of like a 50-50 test as I use it for the next couple of days, even maybe heavier inside screen usage. So that way, when I get my full review this next week, I'll be like, look, definitively, this is the kind of battery life I'm getting. Yes, you're going to get better battery life if you use this like a normal phone and use the front screen more. The more you use the inside screen, it's twice the size. Logic would dictate it will get worse battery, right? So that's one of the things when you use these phones. There's two different usage profiles, open screen, closed screen, and that's really going to dictate it. So I kind of want to get a range from that. Yeah, you're going to get tremendously good battery life if you just use the front screen all the time. But then what's the point? Samsung treats the interior screen, the big open display, like they treat this as the primary display. So I'm going to dial in more on this. Standby time is definitely better. I'm only losing maybe like 6-7% a night, which I think is pretty fantastic. And other than that, I do have always on display turned off. And then you can go in the performance profiles and use light mode. Light mode dials the chipset down to about 85%. But when you have a chipset that's rocking like 4.4 gigahertz and you tune that down by 15%, it's still more powerful than Snapdragon 8 Generation 3 last year. So I don't have a problem using light mode if I want to extend my battery life even more. It does work, folks. So that's all I got. Maybe I'll make a tips and tricks video. Let me know if you want to see a video on like how to optimize for best battery life, or let me see if you want like a tips and tricks video. I'll come back and I'll make one of those just so I can give some more intimate information on the daily workings of the phone. But I like it a lot. I love everything other than the S Pen. And yeah, battery life, of course, we want it to be bigger. But I wanted to talk about that too because there are reasons why these companies aren't going over 5,000 in the US. And there's also reasons when it comes to like the longevity and just wondering, they can't they can't know if the phone battery is going to hold up 7 years. You can't guarantee a phone's going to work 7 years and then have a battery that's busting out of the phone at like year 3, right? So, and they can't very well walk that back, right? Last year we already got the 7 years extension on the battery life and support. Sorry, on the support and the updates. So we can't go, well, all right, Z Fold 7, you get 3. It just doesn't work out that way. So yeah, overall, great phone. It's still slick as a brick. Like it's this sucker. I mean, bricks aren't really slippery. It just rhymed. This sucker is slippery. I've got a thin-born case coming that'll be here hopefully the next day or two. I can't wait to test that out because I am so scared to drop this thing. And also, when you put it down on the table like this and you touch the screen, it wobbles a lot. But those are really my only criticisms I have so far. So that's all I got. If you have any questions, comments, gripes, concerns, complaints, all that stuff, you know where to go. Straight to the comments section. Get to work, keyboard warriors. If you enjoyed the video, if you want to see more Samsung content, you're in the right place. Hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.